My name's Chris Ayers, retired Marine Corps captain. I was severely wounded as a platoon commander in the First Battle of Fallujah in April of 2004. March 30th is when those 4 contractors from Blackwater took a wrong turn in southern Fallujah and got ambushed pretty hard. All 4 were killed, bodies were burned, dragged through the streets, and hung from the bridge on the southwest side of the city. And once that happened, that pretty much kicked off what they call Operation Vigilant Resolve. We'd been giving a warning order to stand by to possibly do something, but we had no idea that we were going to go into the First Battle of Fallujah. And then several days later, we were just like, hey, gear up, pack up, here's a gear list, this is what we're going to do. We already had a mission. 13 April, my company commander pushed me across the street from my platoon defensive position and to occupy a position that was in enemy territory. Talked to the XOs, and he said there were 10 to 15 enemy armed with small arms. He said, you need to go kill them. I was like, roger that. And so we pulled up and got them in a crossfire, and everything was working all right. And we punch up, we look to the right, they're not there, where they were just there because they were just firing across our front. So I assumed the worst, that they punched forward, and so I was going to punch forward and try to look for them. As soon as we did, we stepped off an ambush and just started taking RPGs like they were freaking throwing confetti at us. It was a hellacious experience. It was like stepping on an ant bed. I mean, freaking enemies were just everywhere, and they started coming out of the woodworks, and I mean, you couldn't shoot at them enough. I mean, but you had to. So we had the 50 cal rocking, and we had the Mark 19 rocking. On the back of the Amtrak, you have what they call air sentry hatches. They open up, and there's a bench, and so all the Marines were standing on the bench. The rest of my Marines were firing out the back sides. So we were like a freaking little rolling armada, but we were also a big target. And so we were getting freaking shellacked pretty damn bad. I'm standing up in the seat, my driver's down in front of me, and so I was kicking him and tell him to stop, and then we'd spray an alleyway, and I'd say, we got him, and then I'd kick him again, say, go, 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 and then I'd kick him again, stop, spray the alleyway, and kept doing that until eventually I got hit. I took an RPG to the back of my right thigh. It basically shredded off the whole back half of my right leg, blew off my hamstrings from my butt to my back of my knee. Totally disintegrated all my nerves, hamstrings, tendons, just filleted. I lost peripheral vision on my right eye and cracked 18 teeth in my mouth, and I was freaking done.
On April 13th, picked up the phone about 9 o'clock that night, and I had received a phone call from the Marine Corps that my husband had been severely wounded in Iraq. And we all got in the car and drove to Fort Sam Houston to be with them, and I waited several hours there just praying that he arrived safely. So the man I married, November 23rd, 1996, was no longer with me. A totally different person laying there. There's no books you could ever read, nothing you could ever see on TV that could ever prepare you for what you would see or what I lived the next 7 years of my life.
PTSD, for me started manifesting itself. I refused to make any type of decision making whatsoever. Just totally removed myself from that capacity.
We had several dark years actually, but Chris he was getting very dark, and I had, asked him a few times to get help, and we were butting heads on that.
And then, I was also real short with the kids. I could handle them on me for a little bit, and then I'd just be like, get off me, now. His
anger was growing and growing and growing, and we would fight about everything, and he drank a lot. That was a big thing.
I would just pick apart my wife, just pick her apart. The easiest thing to do. Hell, I'm voiding out, don't want to talk to anyone else. Well, let's find something wrong with Renee. You're not doing that right. You're not doing this right. What the hell's wrong with you? It was destroying a relationship.
on a particular day, I had really just had enough of it. Enough's enough. And when we started arguing, I wouldn't back down, which was mistake number one.
She got in my face, which was at that time the wrong move. I grabbed her by the neck, lifted her 1.5 feet off the deck, put her up against the wall, and just my whole outside perimeter just went like in a blur.
He put his whole hand around my trachea, and he just popped my trachea out. And he had me one-handed, lifted me, and I'm 150 pounds. He lifted me up off the floor and had me up against the wall and had my trachea, and he was squeezing it, and I literally knew right then and there I was dying.
To me, it was a threat, and I was going to eliminate it. But it was conflicting with, it's my wife, it's not a threat. How is she a threat? It's my wife, it's somebody I love, somebody I know.
I don't know, it must have been by the grace of God that I got this out, and one thought to myself was, I don't want him to feel the guilt of if he killed me. And I said, it's not your fault. And then he let me go.
So we started looking into going away for treatment. I know so much about psychology and PTSD and my experiences, and I said it's still kicking my butt. I can't have faith in psychology. I can understand psychology, but I need a lot more than that. And I said, you know what? I said, I can't do this anymore, and I won't do this anymore. I said, I'm gonna give it to God because I can't do this anymore.
From the time that my husband left for Iraq, I began to pray that God guide me, and that's the only way that I have been able to make it through this.
And if anything the Marine Corps has taught me is, given an environment of chaos, you can pick up the tools and you can find certain things that you need to do to overcome to make that chaos go away. And to me, for me, it's being able to pick up the Bible, to be able to tap into other individuals that are really devout men and very strong sources of direction.
You can't do it alone. You need to reach out to other people that have been there. Even when you think that things are at its worst, that there's still hope out there, and don't give up.
It's been a release. I've been able to just, all the crud that I carry on my chest and my heart and on my back, just be able to try to get rid of it. I said enough's enough. I drew a line in the sand and reached out to God. He who asks for the Lord's help shall receive, and then I received it. I've
learned to love, the new person that I'm married to, and it's taken time. We've had everything in the book thrown at us, and we made a commitment to it to stay together, and no matter what, we can get through it.
That man upstairs has showed me that having a relationship with him is the way I need to go, and I'm going to stay committed to that because it's going to make you a better person. Reaching out to God and following down that path. It's not going to be easy, but I have a sense of confidence, I have a sense of release, and I have a good feeling that, and knowing that everything in my life is going to be okay as long as I remain committed.
There's positive that can come out of tragedy, and you can move forward. You can allow God to work through you to have a positive life, because we're proof of that.